Hey, for Thursday, March 19, 2020, this is the Pro and Con Show, and I'm your host, Michael James Ott. As always, welcome to the show. So the purpose of the show is to, one, have us focus on the facts. So you guys out there have to ferret out the truth. You have to spend a little bit more time, and I encourage people to look at multiple sources of information. Please look at multiple sources of information. If you're only looking at one, if you're only listening to Judge Jeanine Pirro or I think his name is Don Lemon on CNN or any of these guys, don't do that, please. Please, you've got to be better citizens. You've got to listen to alternate voices, because if you only listen to someone that you think agrees with you all the time, well, guess what? I mean, just think about your life. How often is it true that the truth is always in alignment with what you want? Almost never, right? And so if there's an information stream that's coming at you and it's always kind of in alignment with what you think and believe, or naturally tend to want to believe, it's not the truth, most likely. It's not telling you the whole truth, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. So there's lots of examples of this. I mentioned Mr. Lemon on CNN the other day. I was watching because, again, I try to take in different information streams on the internet or on cable television or whatever, just to see what people are saying and what other people are saying. I take the extra time because I want to make sure, excuse me, I want to make sure that I'm not getting overcome by bias, okay, by opinion and bias. So trying to check out, make sure that, the same thing is being said by multiple sources, then you can kind of feel, okay, if the same thing is being said by multiple sources, 3, 4, 5 sources, okay, probably pretty true. All right. So I call it Mr. Lemon because, oh God, the other day I can't remember who he had on there, but he was berating them. And it was just the most horrific, biased, bad journalism, bad reporting that I'd seen. I mean, it's not the worst, but it was an example of some of the worst, where he had a point, and he was, by God, he was going to keep hammering away at this person until, and basically the person refused to go down the path that he wanted to go on. So he just kept saying it himself, in the form of answering questions and answering themselves, instead of, having his guest on the show answer the questions. And so on Breitbart, there's this fellow, and I've talked about him before. His name is John NOLTE. Yes. And wow. Okay, so Breitbart, they present themselves as news. I mean, the format and everything is presented as news. But this is opinion and, frankly, propaganda. Mr. NOLTE here. So he always begins, so CNN and the rest of America's fake news media have literally spent 4 years engaging in a deliberate campaign to undermine Donald Trump by smearing him as a serial lying racist Manchurian candidate who sexually abuses women. And now this same media is baffled over why countless people are not taking the president's warning seriously about the Chinese coronavirus. So he's assuming where this is people in Florida, for example, especially young people, are down there on spring break and they are partying at the beach. And there's a lot of people are saying, hey, don't do that. This whole social separation thing, is going to catch you. It's going to bite you. Don't do that. So he's assuming that all those people in college are leftists, in other words, they're Democrats or social or liberals, when of course they aren't. If you've ever been on a college campus, you know that just like America, there's a big chunk, a big percentage of people on a college campus that are more conservative, generally Republican leaning, because we have two political parties that push those hot buttons, try to keep us segregated, and the same thing on the Democratic liberal side. This is true on college campuses, okay? It's true. And it's true on the beach in Florida. And then he just goes on and on and on, and it's, I'm not gonna, but listen. So here's some of the stuff. Anyway, get yourself a load of these two assholes. Look, journalists do not use this kind of language. Journalists do not use this kind of language. And they, so nicknames, President, Nazi, liar, Russian spy. And again, the hammering the same idea for 3 freaking years. For 4 freaking years, and on and on and on. The rest of the fake media, blah, 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 blah. Very fine people hoax. Hell, I'd be rollerblading naked through a nursing home with a raw bat in my mouth. You see, so when you see this stuff, and I see it quite honestly, and again, factually, I see it more on the right. There are more streams of folks like Rush Limbaugh and Hannity and what's her name? Judge Judy Pirro. Anyway, some of these people with Breitbart and or Fox News and Mr. NOLTE. Wow, they're and the President of the United States, frankly, very very happy to use abusive language, unfair language, labels, slights, insults on a regular basis, and you just can't do that. Okay, that's not the truth. That's not a balance of the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. Okay, and I fully admit I am with you 100% if you think that CNN is biased, more toward a little bit more liberal basis and so on, and other places like Huffington Post and so I get you. Okay, there's definitely some bias in the media for sure, and that's why I'm telling you, look at multiple sources of information so that you yourself can help filter out that bias. But don't pay heed to people, any person. I don't care who they are, left-leaning, right-leaning, or whatever. Don't pay heed to these people that are using this abusive, emotional language that they're just trying to infuriate you so they can control you. It's all part of the propaganda wars of these two political parties and their agents that are trying to keep you hating other people that happen to actually believe only slightly differently than you do. I guarantee you there is way, way, way more common ground in this country than there is a differential in ground in this country, but we won't let each other talk enough to listen to it, to understand that. And that's why I'm doing the show. The Pro and Con Show. You've got to turn your back on people like this guy NOLTE. anyone that is yelling and screaming profanities and emotional language and stuff like that, these are not journalists. These are not people that are helping you getting the facts, the truth, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. Seek the truth, the who, the what, the where, and the when, and decide for yourself what it means. For the Pro and Con Show for Thursday, March 19, 2020, I'm Michael James Ott. Thanks for watching. Until the next show, bye for now.